for you this lesson from Unity of the Keys Spiritual Center. Hi. It's good to see you, and it's good to be here with you. You know, it's funny, in Unity we talk about God all the time. And yet, have you ever noticed how uneasy some people get when you use that word? You say God at the family dinner, and all of a sudden people remember they need more mashed potatoes. You know? We smile because it's true. That word carries a lot of emotional baggage. Some of us love the word. Some of us avoid it. And many of us are not sure what it means to us anymore. So when I chose today's title, Are We All Atheists?, I wasn't really trying to shock anyone. Excuse me just a moment. Or maybe I was, because that sign out front got a lot of attention. But it is kind of a fun idea to wake us up on Sunday morning, isn't it? So I chose it because many of us on this spiritual path, there comes a time when the old ideas, the old concepts that we grew up with about God just do not fit anymore. We've outgrown them. And that might feel like losing faith. But maybe it's actually the beginning of a deeper kind of faith. A faith that is more honest, more personal, and more uniquely ours. So let's talk about God for a moment. That seems appropriate. This is a church or a spiritual center, place of sacred activity. We're allowed to talk about God here. We know that there are churches, I know that there are churches, Unity churches, who do not use that word, who also do not use the word church. And I understand why. And it brings me back to a conversation that I had, I believe it was here in the sanctuary, several months ago now, with an individual, member of our community, who we were talking about this aversion that many people have to the simple word, God. And I don't think they were suggesting that we use it less or that we not use it. But that is a consideration for many churches that are trying to be more progressive and more responsive to the unchurched. So who exactly are the unchurched? Well, here in America, when surveys are completed, there's this large group of responses to what religious affiliation are you? There's one group that keeps growing larger and larger and larger, and that's the folks that respond none. None. 30% of Americans give that response, none. Now that means 70% feel they are connected with a specific church affiliation. However, when asked if they believe in God, 56% of people in the US said that they believe in God as described by the Bible. And another 34% responded that they believe in some spiritual higher power. So together, that's 90%. That's awesome. And I'm confident that the reason for that second set, that 34%, is because of what is imbued into the old concepts of God. I have said it before, and I will say it again. We are all atheists. An atheist is simply someone who does not believe in a God. And there are gods I do not believe in. So when most people say, I don't believe in God, What they often mean is, I don't believe in that God anymore. The one that we were taught perhaps as children to fear. The one that maybe would love us if we did everything right, but they were also keeping track and they knew everything that was going on. So we had to go to church and we had to follow the right church and we had to follow the right creed and we had to do everything right. For some, the word God brings up images of an old man with a beard in the sky with a list, like a more distinguished Santa Claus. Yeah, only not just in December, but all the time. But for others, it really calls up memories that are filled with dogma and exclusion and true heartbreak. Now, many of you in this room know of Karen Taylor Good because she has friends in Key West and she used to come here quite often. She's a Nashville singer, songwriter, awesome lady, New Thought musician. She has a song that I've heard her play that you will not find on any of her CDs. It's called The Jesus Club. Now that sounds nice, doesn't it? A Jesus Club? Except it wasn't. And she tells the story about being a little Jewish girl and having Jesus used as a club. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. By her Christian friends, misdirected, obviously, misused. And I'm sure many Jews can identify with that. Anything can be misused as a club. I remember when A Course in Miracles was used as a club on me. And it took a long time for me to come to terms with that it wasn't A Course in Miracles' fault. For some, God may have been used as a club, as a basis for disapproval and rejection and alienation. So when some say that they don't believe in God, maybe it's not disbelief at all. Maybe it's just honesty. Maybe they're clearing space for a new understanding. And isn't that really what spiritual evolution is? It's clearing space of an old understanding, letting go of the small and making room so something bigger and deeper and truer for us can evolve. Now, language is a beautiful thing, but it can also get us tangled up. For words are symbols. Words have meaning because we give them meaning, when they're actually pointers. But somewhere along the way, we start mistaking the pointer, the word, for the presence itself. We start focusing on the word God and not actually on God. The 14th century German mystic, who I've quoted many times, Meister Eckhart, said, "The ultimate leave-taking is leaving God for God." In other words, sometimes we have to let go of the idea of God in order to experience the reality or the presence of God. So let's think about that. Sometimes we hold on to our concepts or what we have believed, maybe from very early age. We hold on to it so tightly that we actually block the flow of our own inner wisdom, our own inner divine, which is trying to express itself through us, that presence that really cannot be defined with words. So it's like going to Truman Waterfront to watch the sunset, which we like to do Friday nights, holding on to a picture of the sunset, focusing on that picture, gripping it with both hands, and missing the glorious sunset in the sky before us. We do that. We do that. So yes, we are all atheists, at least in the sense that we've stopped believing in the old pictures. And that's not a loss. That is a sacred step. It's okay to release what we were taught as children that don't work for us anymore. Because when we release what God is not, then we open our hearts to what God is. When we release what God is not, we open our hearts to what God is. Now, in unity, we teach that God is not a separate being among beings. It's not a person or an entity out somewhere. God is the very essence of being itself, the love, the intelligence, that creative force that is within all of life. And that includes us. So if you've struggled with the word God, you're in good company. You are not faithless. You are faithful to your own growth. You're saying that box I was handed is too small for my understanding. You are rejecting what no longer fits. That doesn't work for me. I don't believe that. There's a story I love about a caterpillar. The caterpillar's in the cocoon. It's already started the process of becoming a butterfly. And it says, I don't believe in butterflies. Well, why would it? Why would it? From its perspective, everything is familiar and falling apart. But the transformation is already underway. And the disbelief is actually part of that transformation. For us, as spiritual seekers, releasing, letting go is part of that transformation process. We recognize what doesn't feel true for us. And that's what happens when we let go of the old God, the one we prayed to outside of us that was somewhere distant and was keeping score. Many of us were taught that God was a noun, a thing, a person, an object of belief. But the more we awaken, the more we realize God is not a noun to believe in. It's a verb to live out loud as us. God is the loving, creative, giving, breathing activity of life itself. And that is happening as you right now. Look at our statement of being. There's only one presence and one power as the universe and as my life. It is about you. It is you. And when we stop praying to God out there, we start noticing the holy everywhere, everywhere, in laughter, in stillness, in the person sitting next to you or around you, in the wind, in the palm trees rustling. It turns out we've been looking in the wrong direction. As Eric Butterworth, he's a renowned unity minister, once said, stop trying to reach God and start trying to reveal God. There's nowhere for us to reach but inward. That's you, Godness, Christ consciousness, the divine. That's the heart of it. We don't need to go searching for God or the right and perfect word. We need only let the awareness of the divine reveal itself authentically through us. And no one can reveal God like you can. No one else has the ability to express God as you can. So if we let go of old beliefs, what takes their place? Something better. Faith beyond belief. Belief is often in the head. We've convinced ourselves of something, so it's in our mind. Whereas faith is trusting the experience. Faith is in the heart. We trust that presence even if we can't define it. Belief says, I know what God is. Faith says, I don't need to know. I only need to be still. Belief tries to describe the ocean. And faith says, let's go swimming. That's the journey. That's the journey from religion to realization. From theology, which is the study of the nature of God, to experience. And we're here for the experience. We're here to feel the divine, to trust that within us. And in the stillness of prayer, and in the openness of compassion, and in the quiet moments, we feel connected to that presence, to something larger. And that's God, not as a concept, but as a living reality. The truth is, the word has never been a problem. It's just that our understanding of it had grown too small. We've mistaken the label for the presence. We've mistaken the map for the territory, the belief for the being. And when we let go, even for a moment, of the need to define or defend what God is, we discover something truly wondrous. And it's right here. And it's always been right here. It's breathing us. It's loving us and expressing as us. The mystics of every faith have tried to tell us so. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. The Buddha said, look within. Thou art Buddha. And in unity, we say there's only one presence and one power. God the good, omnipotent, within all. All of these are different ways of saying the same thing. That each one of us are a unique way of the universe, of all that is, of divine life expressing. Each one of us. And when we awaken to that truth, not just as a nice idea, but as a living awareness, something shifts. We stop trying to reach or grasp for God and instead begin to live from God. God, where we live and move and have our being. And when we quiet the chatter of our minds long enough, we do feel it. We feel that gentle hum. We feel the warmth within our being. We feel the peace that envelops us. So where does that leave us with that tricky word, God? Maybe it's okay to use it, and also not to. Maybe we can speak it with reverence, or we can let it go when it feels too small, and know that the presence it points to doesn't take offense in any way. Sometimes I use spirit, presence, all that is, universal love, divine life. That the infinite does not need a name tag. What matters is the consciousness behind the word, the awareness that no matter what name we give to it, we are talking about something vast and intimate, something alive. If the word God feels too heavy for you, don't fight it, let it rest. Because the real invitation is to not believe harder, but to trust deeper. Maybe that's what faith really is. Relaxing into the mystery instead of trying to control it. So the question, are we all atheists? Isn't really about belief at all. It's an invitation. It's an invitation to move beyond the words and ideas into direct experience. To stop believing about God and start living from God. So yes, we are all atheists and we are all believers. We may all be recovering from the idea of a God that was too limiting. The infinite, this love, this presence is not waiting for us to get the words right. There's nothing to wait for. It's simply inviting us to remember we are it and it is us. And so today, when you leave the service, maybe don't worry so much about what you believe. Instead, notice what you experience. Notice the quiet joy that you feel in connection. Might be with someone over coffee after the service. Might be with nature as you leave. Notice the peace that meets you when you stop striving for anything. Notice the life that is living you. That's God, not a theory, but a living presence. A love that is too vast for words, but not too vast for you. Whatever name you use, God, Spirit, Source, Love, it's the same presence that breathes through you and breathes through me. So you and I, let's go swimming. Let's see the sunset. Let's feel the presence, and let's live from that space, hearts wide open. And so it is. And so it is.